Moo. What's up, cows? It's your favorite vamp cow back at it again with another React Andy. The day after 4th of July! Woo! And you're gonna see this tomorrow on the 6th. Cry about it. I hope everyone had a good 4th. If you did not, and your house was set on fire, go Minasari. That's lay sad. Hopefully you have lay insurance, and lay insurance give lay money to fix lay how. So anyways, apparently, people are making articles about Red Dead Redemption 2 still. Probably because GTA 6 is just around the corner, and, well, Rockstar's last game was Red Dead Redemption 2. And apparently, according to the, well, as you can see, according to the title of that article, it's time to admit Red Dead Redemption 2 is a terrible game. The gaming equivalent of watching paint dry. Now, I can tell you myself, like, Red Dead Redemption 2 is not a terrible game. I can't say it is a amazing game, though. It's not like this 10 out of 10 masterpiece. I don't believe so. It's maybe like an 8 or a 9. It is still a good game. Even if it's not on sale and it's $60, I'd say it is worth every single dollar. I was able to get it for like $15. I played it on Xbone. Back when it was on Game Pass, if it still is on Game Pass, I don't know. I don't have Xbone anymore. I just play PC. I have it on PC now. $15. I'm gonna replay it again at one point or another. Who knows when? But I can tell you one of my least favorite things in Red Dead Redemption 2 was the horse riding. I despised how long it took from getting one point to the map to the other. But that's a part of the gimmick of the game. That's part of the fun, if you will. It adds to the vibe of the Western, the story, because, well, you'll have like these super hard-hitting story beats, and then when the mission's over, you have a long horse ride to then get to the next mission, usually. Or even then, though, your horse rides are used to deliver exposition while you're also sightseeing with your gang members. But because of how long those horse rides were, and I really didn't ponder too much about what was going on in the story. I just got I got extremely bored. I got so tired and so annoyed of the horse riding. After, I don't know, probably like the halfway point into the game, because I was kind of being a completionist Andy, doing almost everything there is. At least every single marked mission on the map. And with like a L horse too. But in spite of that, still a great game. I bet you that's what Ford James over here is gonna say. Imagine having your name being Ford and you hate the horse game. Makes sense. This guy's obviously a GTA fan. You know, he can drive his F-150. You can't do that in Red Dead unless you got mods on. So I bet you that's probably one of the complaints, but I'm excited to see what else they say. And of course, we have our favorite lolly tubi here, Rev says Desu.
Hey, what's up, guys? We're here. So in this video, I'm going over a contender for the worst article ever made. The games journalist over at Polygon just yeeted out this slop article trying to claim that Red Dead Redemption 2, yes, the Red Dead Redemption 2, is a terrible game. After 8 years of reflection, this journalist is now claiming all of your positive experiences from this game were a mirage, and this is actually a really terrible game. And of course, they base this off of their own inadequacies, basically saying they don't have the attention span to enjoy a game like this.
How? What? Oh! They got TikTok brain rot moment. They got the doom scrolling. God, I'm so bored just riding the horse. I have to like watch something else on the side. No, you watch something else on the side when you're just hunting like every single animal that there is on the map to then just put a whole bunch of decorations around your camp. That is noteworthy. That is deserving of just having something on the side. I did that. It wasn't terrible, but it wasn't exactly fun either. But I was rewarded in the end that I had a based looking camp. And I got all decked out with all the different animal skins and whatever. You have no idea how, like, fulfilling that is to see the very first camp that you get and have it just have all these decorations and it just sticks around. Like, they just kind of blend into the camp that you kind of forget exactly what you put into it. I'm gonna do that again, but I guess this time round, whenever I do it again, I'll definitely be, like, I'll definitely have it all recorded. I don't know, I think I was just being a lazy shite, and I just really, really didn't want to lecture myself, because I thought it was mundane, but you know what? That's the joy of Red Dead, is doing the mundane things, but then he's still getting rewarded for it anyway. And I guess I can show people I didn't cheat to make it happen, I swear.
And of course, journalists like those at Polygon are very desperate for clicks. They will do anything to bring people in because every view on their article is more revenue for them. So I'm going to do the most ethical thing here and show you guys this article so you don't have to contribute to it yourself.
Thanks, man. I appreciate that. I love not giving corporations money. They already have enough. They don't need any more. I don't care if that affects, like, the journalists working there. Well, corporations need to pay their employees more. Back during what I think it was 1980. Back in 1980, CEOs made like 20 times the amount of, like, their average worker, of, like, the lowest worker on the pyramid, if you will. Nowadays, the McDonald's CEO versus the McDonald's cashier makes 300 times the amount. And what does the CEO really do? He just looks at you with, like, a stone cold face, and then he takes a small little nibble into his burger and says, "Guys, it's so good. Eat McDonald's burger." But yeah, I mean, Polygon having journalists like this is already shows that they're just a trash company anyway. They can't even hire people that have half decent opinions or interesting opinions. But you know what? Who knows? We could be wrong. Maybe they do have an interesting reason why Red Dead Redemption 2 is bad. Let's find out.
Very welcome. But before we get into this article, I just wanted to say Happy 4th of July to all of my...
Yeah, happy 4th.
Well, it's the 5th now for me. Sorry, I had a life. Sorry, Rev. I couldn't watch you. I interact with human beings on the 4th.
But happy 4th of July.
My fellow Americans, it is a very special day. It is the...
Isn't it amazing? 250 years. I actually only knew it was going to be like the 250th anniversary before it started being publicized and advertised, because I watched this, what was it called again? This, like, theater movie? Yeah, this theater movie called 1776. It was a, like, slight parody on, you know, the Declaration of Independence. But it was still based movie. It, like, has a surprisingly dense amount of information, despite it being like I guess, no, a satirization. It's a satirization of probably the creation of the Declaration of Independence, but it was still good.
250th anniversary of our country. Now, to all of my non-Americans, I hope you're having a fantastic day as well. You know what? You can consider yourself an honorary American for today. Enjoy a burger and or hot dog in memory of us. That's right. Join in on the celebration, but I just wanted to quickly say that before we get into things here. So, as you can see, Polygon came out with this today saying, 8 years later, it's time to admit Red Dead Redemption 2 is a terrible game. Yes, after tens of millions of copies sold and many people considering this their favorite game of all time, Polygon has decided it's actually a terrible game. Now, here is the...
You gotta love that it's worded like it's a fact, not an opinion, too.
Author, here's a screenshot of their Twitter account, and it just screams games journalist, okay? Pronouns in bio, pride flag. Also,
ew, icky, gross.
Account is locked. I'm sure they're big on Blue Sky, but I don't need to know anything more. This is just the average journalist, but...
For the record, my pronouns are vamp/cow.
Here is their case for why this game is so bad. So they begin by saying, the problem is that Rockstar leaning so far into realism. Red Dead Redemption 2 may be impressive, but it isn't fun. Slowly following the scent of a bear, setting a trap, then hiding in a bush for minutes on end isn't engaging gameplay. Another example is that looting is a...
You don't even have to do that. Dude, if you want to game into bear, you can just get like a shotgun and game in one. You can get a bow and arrow too. And just, you know, hunt it from a distance and then use, what is it, Deadeye to just constantly hit it and then give yourself like I don't know, like a couple more in-game seconds to actually game end it before it reaches you, or try to game it before he reaches you. I've never set up a bear trap for a bear. From my memory, what I've always done is I believe I've either, shot it in the face, because shooting it in the face and giving it through that way, you don't destroy its hide. Or use a bow and arrow to do the exact same thing, because you're going to take a lot more hits. It's... You don't even have to do that. It's just an option, but okay. I guess this guy's a Cro-Magnon and has no idea how... Well, no idea that you don't just have to do like the painstakingly slow and long-term commitment to get a bear.
Astoundingly detailed. The ability to search through every individual drawer, and the fact that the game doesn't just open an inventory screen in its UI is commendable, but it takes so long.
Is your time that precious that you can't enjoy or admire all the work that the devs put into making such a system? Aw, poor baby.
So long. Yeah, this is games...
Yeah, I'm employed too. I'm making like daily content. I have like a bunch of other things recorded that I have yet to even post. And you don't hear me being like, hey, I got no free time. I can't do anything. The only time I ever do that is when somebody's just like, oh, why are you so held back in this game? Gee, I don't know. Maybe it's because I got other shit I'm doing than playing games. That's like the only thing. Otherwise, though, I'm gonna enjoy the game at my own pace. But apparently this guy doesn't like enjoying the game at his own pace. His pace is, I need doom scrolling. I need to swipe up, and I need instant gratification. I need to look up big boob on the internet and see big boob.
Journalism in a nutshell. They're mad because this game is tedious and challenging and requires an attention.
It's not even tedious or challenging. It's just fun. Like, the challenge just comes from, well, figuring out what you can't and can't do. At least in hunting. Again, for most of the time when it comes to hunting, you can just get a sniper rifle. You can shoot the animal in the face, and the hide is all yours. The only times that you can't really do that is with, like, these small animals. Like, the animals that are the size of hares or turkeys. You need a bow and arrow for that, but that's whatever, because they're one shot. Aw, poor journalist. Poor Ford F-150.
Attention span. They basically just listed out a bunch of things that are supposed to be negative. I see these all as positives in why the game was so successful, because it is...
Yeah, I see it as positive too. It's just a great attention to detail.
That immersive. It does have that realism, and people really resonated with that, and really just begs the question... Has Polygon lost their mind? Well, you know what, to be honest, I think they lost their minds a long time ago, but the article continues on, and suddenly it all makes sense. So they say, maybe it's me. Maybe I'm the problem.
Yeah. If you're questioning that, 95% of the time, that is the case. Is it me? Am I the problem? Yes. Yes, 95% of the time. You're part of the 95%. You ain't unique. You're not a unique serial. You're no different, buddy.
Being able to keep my attention on the game during these slower moments is most likely a symptom of my ADHD. Well,
I think people with ADHD probably don't have the same issue as you for this game because of the attention to detail and because there's just so much to do in it that you are just constantly, I don't know, learning and picking up on new pieces of information. I think you're too much of a simpleton, though, and you just don't have the brain capacity to comprehend the depth of RDR2.
Well, there it is, ladies and gentlemen. But in an era when so many people have shorter attention spans anyway, due to short-form content consumption and the sheer breadth of entertainment media available, I think Red Dead Redemption 2 falls on the wrong side of the line.
I bet you this guy watches Tung 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 Sahur Italian Brainrot. He goes, this guy.
My brain hurts reading that. They're admitting the bad thing that's happening in society and saying Red Dead Redemption 2 is bad because it doesn't align with bad things happening. People having a shorter attention span is not good, and games shouldn't cater to that. There's a
I wish more video games were like my brain, not that I doom screwed on Twitter.
reason why this game was so successful, but this person having ADHD, no insult here, but them having ADHD is probably one of the reasons why. I think it is a you problem in this case, but you can't make a blanket statement for a game based on your own personal experience. That's pretty wild.
Even with ADHD, there's just different, I don't know, everyone's ADHD is different. Some people is more severe, some people's less severe, some people hyper focus on shit, some people need to like have multiple things going on to just be satisfied. I guess for this guy, you know, like you said, he just can't stand like sitting still, even when it comes to playing a video game. You live a sad, sad life if you can't even play something that's meant to be entertaining and you're not having fun.
But the comments,
like, it's fine if the game's just not for you, but bro, that doesn't mean the game itself is bad.
we're pointing this out as well. This is the highest voted reply, saying, well, the admission of ADHD doesn't help your argument. I think people confuse actual realism for the feel.
You know, actually, that is a good point, too. It is really corny, bro. Just like, I have ADHD, so maybe that validates my opinion more. No, it really doesn't. It can just add on to why you have the opinion of why you do, but that doesn't make it more valid or less valid than anybody else's. That doesn't make what you believe into a factual statement.
Of realism, most everything Arthur does is still pretty snappy compared to a real human being, but the creative intent seemed to be to support one of the game's many themes, which is to slow down and linger. And I couldn't agree more. That's why this game feels so good, feels so real, because that's the vision. That's what they were going for. They wanted to slow you down as a gamer, and that is so rare, because unfortunately so many games are catering to people with short attention spans, and look at how that is played out. Not very good. You can see a quote from Mudahar over Polygon's post that we'll get to in just a moment because the replies are hilarious, saying, the cutscenes are longer than TikTok videos, and I guess that makes it a bad game. Absolutely. Nobody's got time for these long cutscenes unless it's done wokely, like with Mixtape, where the entire game is a cutscene.
You know, speaking of lingering, it reminded me of a time where I was playing Red Dead Redemption 2, and there is this house that I went to, and inside the house, there's a man and his son. The man's like abusive to his son, and you kind of have like three different choices. You can either just like leave the house alone, you can game in the father, or you can game in the father and the son. and I like game in the father. And then, like, the son's just like, oh, please don't hurt me. Give me some, I can tell you where the money is. And he tells me where the money is. And then I game in him. And I feel a little bad about it. And then I, like, read it. And then I find notes around the house. And I find out that, like, the son doesn't even want to be there. He's just stuck in, like, a terrible divorce battle. Where the father's trying to hold on to his kid. And abusing him, too. Because he's like an alcoholic and whatever. And then I read that now, I'm like, oh damn. Wow, I'm evil. Why did I do that? And then one of my favorite things too was later in the game, actually, because I game ended the father and the son, like the wife that was left alive, the mother, she sent like hitmen to come after me. Obviously it was like easy to deal with them, but it's such a fun detail that I have repercussions for my actions. That is one of my most memorable moments in that game.
Scene basically
having repercussions for my actions. I still feel it is amazing that I still feel a little terrible for a fictional character and what I did to them in the fictional universe. That's how good like the writing in Red Dead Redemption 2 is.
Journalists, including those at Polygon, loved that, but their attention span for this...
The cutscenes are longer than TikTok videos. I guess that makes it a bad game. The guy that never had a coding degree. He's so right.
Not adequate. But there's something else to point out in this article, and it's very important. It shows you why they're doing this in the first place, and I believe this is the chief motivation. So the author says, Listen, I'm not just hating to be a contrarian for the sake of it. You probably are. Let's be honest.
Yeah. You saying that out loud gives me the impression that's actually the case.
There is a monetization system here at play with these journalists. They can't get anyone to click on their articles when they're being honest or they're giving a regular, reasonable opinion because nobody cares what they have to say. The primary traffic heading to articles like this.
Yeah, exactly. If Joe Schmo down the street says he likes Grand Theft Auto 5, okay, great. My neighbor Joe Schmo likes Grand Theft Auto 5. But if Joe Schmo starts telling me why he despises GTA 5, then I'm gonna be like curious. I'm gonna listen to him because, well, that's not like the average opinion. And also, it's a negative opinion about something I enjoy too. It'd be what's another good comparison? It's like talking to some guy at Verizon, and then him talking about why he loves iPhones, but then I talk to another salesman, like in the same store, and he tells me about why he despises iPhones. Like I'm gonna listen to the guy why he hates iPhones because I believe there might be a bit more passion there. And like a bit more passion, so he might be more detailed. Tell me like the flaws. But otherwise, though, like if a salesman just tell me why I should buy something because it's good, I'm just gonna be like, okay, that's a salesman. You know, he's just telling me why it's good. But once he starts like going into the good and the bad, then I'm actually interested because I feel validated for him absorbing my time. That maybe I'll get a different opinion that might have some culpability to it. I can't think of the right word at the moment. I'm you know, because I'm hearing a negative opinion, it might change my worldview. It might challenge my worldview and give me a deeper insight. And that's the same thing with these articles. But more than anything, though, these articles where they talk about why they dislike things, it's mostly just a rage bait. I highly doubt this guy. This guy might not even feel this way. He's just probably writing that he doesn't like the game, just so that way he gets people to click on the article and then say, "Dude, you're stupid." XD. And this, bro. I mean, this article is written like this guy didn't even finish like 8th grade English. It's so boring to read too.
This is people making fun of it. They're trying to rage bait you. And here's some important information to consider before clicking on these articles. Polygon has started to trash in Red Dead Redemption 2 with a clickbait article. Remember that some days ago, the Canadian media company Valnet has introduced new contracts for freelance writers at these websites. Instead of receiving a payment for each article, writers will now be paid only according to the number of people who read their work.
I would be thinking that's already how it was. But all right.
Under the new system, writers who publish their own articles will earn $8 for every 1,000 page views.
These people need to get different jobs. $8 for 1,000 views. How many did it say how many people actually like read the article? Is that even something you can do?
They're making these sort of clickbait articles. They've always been doing clickbait articles, but this is a ramp up. You're going to see because they are.
If you really think about it, 100,000 views, that's only $800. That's about 2 weeks. Well, I mean, you know, with the internet, that might be possible. But man, that's about 2 weeks of pay at a half decent job. 3 weeks if you have like a LRIS job, which is like, I guess, the more average.
Are getting paid to get you there, which is obvious. But that is...
Actually, no, wait, no. You need to, like, what is it? Yeah, no, you need to make, like, $3,000 a month to survive in the current year. Bro better be hoping that he's getting, like, he's writing, like, an article every single week and getting $800 a week. Otherwise, bro is just not making good money.
Entire monetization scheme. It's not just pumping out articles, it's getting people to click on them. They're making it very explicit over at Valnets, and this is a bit of a problem. And speaking of Valnets, their history, very interesting one. Some of the founders were actually ones who were in the business of online adult content, creating a bunch of different sites that had their very, very dark issues and controversies, including abuse going on and being monetized on their platform. And after that started to unravel, well, they started Valnet. So here we are. What a great foundation for them. But here's the article itself shared on Twitter. And you can see it has 6.6 million views. A shame.
Ooh. No, the question is how many people actually read the article. I wish there was a way to actually tell. I don't think there is. All right, we're at like 8:35. At the very beginning, does it say how much? No, it does not. There's 118 comments, though. Under the idea that only that 2% of people comment. Under the idea that 2% of people comment. So if we say like about 50, that's about, I think that's what? That's 50,000 views? Yeah. Bruh. Yeah, bro had 50,000 views. And then, let's see, it's... I think bro made like $600 from this article. I hope that $600 was worth it, man. I really, you know, I hope that $600 was worth it to have like no credibility. And then again, though, journalists already don't have any credibility. If you still give journalists credibility in current day and year, what are you doing with your life? Listen, here's a great saying that that I want to adopt now. You can never hate journalists enough. Like any opinions that they have, don't even click on the articles. Just ignore them. If anything, just watch somebody react Andy to the article, so that way you can give the person react Andy the money instead of whoever's writing it, because these people that are writing these worthless 8th grade opinions, we gotta get them to work at McDonald's. We gotta see them working at Burger King and KFC. I want to hear Ford F-150, and I want to come up through the drive-thru and see them give me some fries and put them in the bag.
6.6 million views. A shame they're not getting paid for that, or at least, well, they are with the blue check mark, but you don't make anything from that. But you can see 3,000 likes on 6.6 million views and 4,000 comments. They're getting ratioed by the comments. There's even a proposed note that I thought was pretty funny, saying Red Dead Redemption 2 is not a terrible game and is widely considered one of the greatest games of all time. Which is true, okay? That's not an objective fact. These are all opinions, but it is a widely supported game. It sold tens of millions of copies, and a lot of people who are very knowledgeable gamers consider it the greatest game of all time for them. Doesn't mean everyone thinks that way, but it is a pretty...
Wait, I did my math wrong. I just realized. If it's like... if it's $8 per 1,000 views... Bro made like maybe $400 off that article. That's... Bro's barely making minimum wage. Bro's actually making under minimum wage. Just for an article that's purely clickbait and rage bait. That's so pathetic.
Opinion, a lot of people...
We gotta get him to put the fries in the bag.
Have that opinion, who are knowledgeable.
Ford F-150, let's go!
This is a
when are we gonna see you working at McDonald's, buddy? Tell us about when you're filling out that resume so I can visit you.
But it's still funny to see, right? But the comments are brutal, okay? And Devion saying, top 5 selling games of all time, by the way. Smash JT saying, paying you guys per click was a bad idea, absolutely. Oh, stop baiting and get a life. My TikTok brain couldn't cope with the endless, constant dopamine. Kindly shut up. Guy who wrote that is a effing regard. Hey, y'all, look. This MF thought we were finna agree. Yep. And then a little clip here.
No, man. Shit, no, man. I believe you get your ass kicked saying something like that.
Yeah, well, apparently a lot of people feel that way. This is a terrible, terrible article, but finally here, you basically admit it's not the game that's the problem. It's your TikTok lobotomized goldfish attention span. You've trained your brain to demand a dopamine hit every single second, so anything that doesn't give you constant stimulation instantly feels boring. And that.
Here's a fun fact when it actually comes to people that doom scroll. People that consistently doom scroll, they have a significantly higher likelihood of developing dementia in their 40s. And they have a harder time remembering things just because you're seeing so much information but all its useless information, most of it is useless information, and whatever information that is or could be useful, you're just going through so much information in a matter of seconds that your brain can't keep up, and you're just frying. You're frying your cells, your brain cells. So that's also probably why this guy hates this game, is that, well, he can't remember anything. He can't remember anything that happened in it either, because he's too TikTok brain rotted. No, how do I like game in bears again without having to like put up a bear trap and use a bow and arrow? I forgot. What do I do? What weapon am I allowed to use when I'm hunting like wildlife that's just running around?
That's pretty much the article. That's how you can sum up a response to what they're claiming in this Polygon article. They just don't have the attention span for something like Red Dead Redemption 2, and I think they know it. But of course, this is a juicy clickbait article. I'm sure they made some good money on
a juicy clickbait article, again, under the idea that 2% of people comment on an article. Bro got like 50,000 views, so that means he made about $400. Yeah, if that's good money, I don't know what is. I highly doubt that. I highly doubt that he made even that much
on this one. Unfortunately, a lot of people are.
Ford F-150, James, I'm very excited to see you in my. The next time I get McDonald's, you can go ahead and put the demon sauce and the hunter sauce in my Saja meal that I'm gonna order the next time it comes out. Because with K-pop Demon Hunters 2 probably coming about, I'm sure McDonald's gonna have another collab. Thank you for being the next laughingstock, or being a laughingstock for the day, Ford F-150, James. Now, if you like that video, be sure to like and subscribe on Rebsa Desu's video here. Be sure to like and subscribe, and also comment on my video too. Tell me what you thought, and I'll see you Vamp Cows next time I feast upon my next victim.
Did you enjoy that video? Did you hate it? Well, be sure to like, dislike, comment, and subscribe if you want to see my next wonky slosh take.